Star Wars Rebels Season 1, Episode 14, Fire Across the Galaxy. This is the final episode of the season. Everyone has told me I'm gonna freak out, that I'm gonna love it, that I'm gonna be blown away. Let's see. The episode opens up with Zeb, Ezra, and Sabine stealing an Imperial ship. When they take off in it, we find out that they planted explosives on all 5 of the TIE fighters that were parked next to the ship they stole. I love me some sabotage, both destructive sabotage and the Beastie Boys song Sabotage. No joke, that is like my favorite song ever. Anyway, the ship they stole is going to take them close to the Mustafar system. There's a huge Imperial blockade there, so they're going to use the ship to sneak past it, but it's too large to dock in the Star Destroyer that they need to dock with. So the TIE fighter that Zeb and Ezra stole on Lothal in one of the first episodes comes back into play. Turns out they didn't destroy it like they told Hera. They hid it. But Ezra tells Hera that there's a slight problem with it, and then the camera cuts to the TIE fighter, and we see that Sabine has painted all over it with her trademark graffiti. This made me chuckle. The creators of the show could have just had the TIE fighter sitting there pristine and perfect, but instead they threw a curveball. It's these little clever things that make me really like this show. Yes, there's a lot of predictability in the show, but there's an equal amount of unexpected points that just gives the show a dash of charm. The rebels decide that they don't have time to fix the paint, so they leave it, saying that the Imperials will just scan it, and by the time they see the TIE with a new paint job, it will be too late. The camera cuts to Kanan being tortured by the Inquisitor. Kanan is still standing tall and refusing to give information. The Inquisitor is such an awesome character. He gets under Kanan's skin, talking about Kanan's master dying, asking what his master's last words were. The Inquisitor is a really great bad guy. Every time he comes on screen, I listen intently and get excited. His lines are super evil, his mannerisms are perfect, and his motivations are classic loyalism. So, the rebels approach the Star Destroyer Kanan is in, and remotely send the TIE fighter into its docking bay. They booby-trap the TIE fighter with an EMP bomb, which kills the power to the Star Destroyer. The rebels get into the Star Destroyer and start their search for Kanan. The other Imperial ships that are a part of this blockade send reinforcements, and the rebels are sure to have a big fight ahead of them. Stormtroopers give chase, Ezra shuts a door behind them, seals it off with his lightsaber. He crawls into a vent and ends up in front of the cell that Kanan is being held in. Ezra takes Kanan out of the cell, and they run into the Inquisitor. Kanan grabs Ezra's lightsaber, and an amazing lightsaber fight ensues. While Kanan and the Inquisitor's blades are locked together, Ezra notices that the Inquisitor has Kanan's lightsaber on his belt, so he grabs it, and now it's a 2 vs 1 fight. This fight was very reminiscent of the lightsaber duel from The Phantom Menace, which was, without a doubt, the best thing about The Phantom Menace. I may really dislike that movie, I may have been insanely disappointed with the overall film, but that lightsaber fight was fucking great, and I don't think many people would disagree with that statement. So, Ezra ends up being knocked off of the platform by the Inquisitor. We don't see him land, we don't see his mid-fall, but it is meant for the audience to believe that he is dead. And Kanan's heartfelt and distraught reaction seems to confirm that. This entire scene is so goddamn good. The lines in this scene are some of my favorite in the entire first season. After seeing Ezra fall, Kanan stands up and says, "That was a mistake." The Inquisitor responds with, "Why? Because you have no one left to die for you?" And Kanan shoots back with, "No, because I have nothing left to fear." Fuck yeah, this is so good. He grabs Ezra's lightsaber and now he's holding 2 lightsabers. The camera cuts to the rebels running through the Star Destroyer. They're trying to link back with Ezra and Kanan. They try to reach Ezra on his communicator. The camera pops down to where Ezra landed when he fell off the platform, and we see that he in fact survived the fall. He responds to the rebels, looks up, and sees Kanan and the Inquisitor fighting. This shit was so badass. The Inquisitor is backed into a corner, he turns on his double lightsaber spinning thingy, and Kanan puts his 2 lightsaber blades in the center of the Inquisitor's spinning lightsabers and destroys it from the inside, where there was no protection. The Inquisitor gets knocked off and is hanging off the side of this platform. He looks up at Kanan and says, "You have no idea what you have unleashed here today. There are some things far more frightening than death." And he lets go of the platform and falls into a fire that was started when his lightsaber fell. And that's the end of the Inquisitor, presumably. So the rebels run into the docking bay, hop into the TIE fighter they stole, and Kanan and Ezra tell them to leave, so they jet off without them. Ezra and Kanan hop into the Inquisitor's TIE fighter. Chopper stayed back with the larger Imperial ship that they stole at the beginning of the episode, but he's not responding to the rebels' attempts at communication. But all of a sudden, Chopper pops out of hyperspace, and he has reinforcements with him. The rebels dock with Chopper's ship, and they jet off into hyperspace. The rebels want to know who the reinforcements are who came to their rescue. So they walk into the Ghost, and a hologram of Bail Organa pops up. He tells them that there are many rebel cells across the galaxy, and they didn't meet one another because if they were ever caught, they didn't want to give away the other cells. It was protocol. And then we meet Fulcrum. It's Ahsoka Tano, and honestly, I knew she was going to be Fulcrum, not because I guessed it, not because I've seen the Clone Wars, because I haven't, but because of the comment section to these videos. It's no worries, guys, no problem, it's fine. It honestly wouldn't have been that big of a surprise to me if I never saw the comments. I recognized her, but like I said, I've never seen the Clone Wars. So it's almost like being introduced to a new character for the first time. I'm sure those of you who have seen the Clone Wars had an entirely different viewing experience than I did, because you know this character. It was probably a really awesome and unexpected reveal for you. For me, it was cool. Like I said, I definitely recognized her, but I had never seen her in anything before. She seems to be one of the favorite characters for many Star Wars fans out there. So I'm excited to see how her role changes and broadens in Season 2. So she tells the crew of the Ghost that they gave other rebel cells so much hope that she had to come and help them in their fight. She says they couldn't be lost, and she says this is a new beginning. The camera cuts to Tarkin and Agent Kallus talking. Kallus tells Tarkin that there's unrest on Lothal and Mustafar, and that some view the Empire as being weak. And Tarkin tells Kallus not to worry, because the Empire has sent an alternative solution. And then we hear the classic breath of Darth Vader off screen. Vader walks down the gangplank of the ship, walks up to the camera, and the episode ends. I was definitely wrong in my last video when I said I expected the episode to not end on a cliffhanger. I was majorly wrong. This is such an awesome cliffhanger. Darth Vader has now been introduced into Star Wars Rebels. I'm glad they left Vader out of 99.9% of the episode and only included him in the last few seconds. Introducing him early would have ruined the potential of a great cliffhanger. I'm excited to see how Vader and Tarkin's relationship grows in Season 2. This has always been one of the most sinister pairings in all of Star Wars, and to be able to see their relationship progress before the events of A New Hope will be really cool and a lot of fun. What a great episode to finish the season on. It was fast and fun the whole way through. Some great reveals, an amazing lightsaber fight, fantastic dialogue, frantic action, and so much more. This entire season was really fun. I'm so glad I started watching this show. If Season 2 is anything like Season 1, Star Wars Rebels is sure to be a nugget of gold in the Star Wars franchise. Thanks for watching my Star Wars Rebels review series. If you guys liked these reviews, please let me know. I'll be sure to do the same thing when Season 2 comes out if you enjoyed these videos. Hello Greedo, out.
Always with you, it cannot be done.